Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Let's Dev, a series where I hope to bring my silly, wacky, novelty ideas for video games to life by literally building them myself. Now, before we begin this fantastic journey, allow me to get a few probably gonna be frequently asked questions out of the way right now, right here. So let's get to them. First up, the engine that I am using for this lovely series right now is Game Maker Studio. It is the engine that I have the most experience with, although most of my experience is with Game Maker 8 and a lot of that is obsolete in Game Maker Studio. Nonetheless, it is the engine that I have the most experience with. I could possibly move to Unity in the future, but for now I'm keeping it safe and simple with something that I know. So Game Maker Studio it is. And you know, there's been some pretty ace games made in Game Maker Studio, Nuclear Throne being one of them. So that out of the way, let me just get to the most important aspect. This is not a tutorial series, I should mention right away. Again, I have some knowledge of Game Maker, but I am in no position to be teaching anything. If you do learn something, that is an added plus, but this is really just documenting my fumblings through stacks of code and hypothetical ideas. Alright, and finally, this is an ever-growing series, so I'm not exactly sure how everything is gonna go, so please bear with me as I try to figure out the best way to go about doing this series. But anyway, we've wasted enough time not doing any game dev in the Let's Dev series, so let's break down our first project. So, the idea that I came up with that I thought would be a fun thing to try and bring to life is, what if you took the basics of, say, Pokemon Go, but I thought it would mix it up a bit, maybe make it a little more indie, quote-unquote indie, by what if the maps that you explored were just randomly generated? So for this episode at least, that is going to be our focus. We are going to try and figure out a way to construct a map generation builder of some sort. So first things first, probably in a room, and over here, speed 60. Your base frame rate. Looking at you, Nuclear Throne and other games. Okay, so we're really not going to be spending much time in the rooms anyway. I think I decided beforehand we're just going to go with 1024 as our basic size for every map. We're building this on the assumption that the view space is going to be, I could probably do a visual here. Let's make a view. Okay, you know what? Never mind, view's not working. Did I mention that I'm not very well versed in Game Maker Studio yet? Okay, good. If we do end up going into graphics here, it's going to be pixel graphics. It's going to be very much on the lower end side, just to save space and just for retro aesthetics, I guess. Okay, so before we close this, let's build our initial creator. You know, let's just name this HUD for now. It's probably going to change in the future. Pop that in. Okay, so we're theoretically never really going to open that again because we don't really need to. We're going to be trying to generate everything we can possibly through code itself, which is, by the way, going to be the basic way that I do a lot of things. I'm going to be using some drag and drop stuff. Nothing. Actually, no. I'm only going to be using event drops. But pretty much everything is going to be in code. Man, I'm going to be doing a lot of mistypings with shift involved and ups, because my keyboard is on the fritz, so I apologize in advance for the awkwardness that could possibly... Damn it. I actually don't know the difference between FPS and FPS Real. I mean, we get different variables for them, but I don't exactly know the difference. I just know that it helps me keep track of how poorly optimized my code is sometimes. I really should have set this up beforehand. It's okay, it's okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to build the major master builder, the first initial builder. Alright, so I put in the HUD, the master HUD, to build the master builder as the room begins, or as we spawn into the room. Yeah, this is how I'm going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to actually make the origin of this object of the master builder to be at the bottom, so that should theoretically make it much easier to do the maths, if you will. So I'm just looking for the future thing to pop in. Okay, we got the frame rate up there. You know what? I didn't specify where it should spawn. Just put XY. Oh wait, you know what? It would be good if I assigned that lovely new sprite that I made. Oh, hold on. Jesus. It's been a while. Okay, there it is. So there's the master builder. So everything is working as planned. So here is where it's going to get tricky because I don't understand the hierarchy of the way that Game Maker Studio works. Now, theoretically, what I want to do first is set up a direction variable. Okay, so let's do my direction round random range. Oops. 0 to 3. So if direction is 0, let's say that's left. Let's say that's left. So X would be 0. Let's just assume that every origin point for now will be the middle of whatever we're working with here. So 2. So that should be the midway through. If anybody has any good tutorials on how to better implement or that introduces DS lists, which is a function in a Game Maker, be sure to pass that along because I've been interested in learning how DS lists work, but everything, at least official that I could find, it's not very useful. So that is one of the functions that seems very powerful, but I have no idea how it works. So yeah, be sure to share your knowledge if you so happen to have any of it. All right, so 0 and 1 are left and right. So now we want to do room width divided by 2. Okay, so what we're looking for here, hopefully, is depending on which direction it chooses when the master builder spawns, we'll choose its origin point. Here we go, let's test it out. We're looking for, okay, I made an error. So the error was that I did not define my direction before telling it to change X and Y coordinates. So as I feared, I can't immediately change the X and Y based on the direction value, because the value needs to be defined first and then I guess in the next step in the hierarchy. So basically this has to go into like a, I don't know, I guess what I'll do is I'll put it in an alarm. I'm assuming that this will define where it goes next, right? Let's see if this works. No. What? You know what? Maybe I was right all along. Hold on. Fun fact. You know, when you're writing code, you might want to check your spelling. I really should have just copy pasted to you know, make things quicker on myself and easier on myself, but hey, I'm an idiot. This was the problem about doing the origin thing. Okay, I put the origin at the bottom left. Okay, slightly working. You know what? For the sake of this video, I just realized this room size needs to be altered slightly. So actually everything works as expected. It was just my poor my poor typing skills. Okay. So let's start building this baby. So I was actually inspired to do it this way after reading a article by Vlambeer about how they did the initial spawn generation for a Nuclear Throne when it was Wasteland Kings. So I want to kind of emulate that, but I guess we'll see how this works. So, oh boy, how do we start this? So the way I'm going to be doing this to save space is actually I'm going to be, or not space, but optimize it, quote unquote, a bit. Okay, so let's say tile, let's just do a temp for now. You know what, let's just make a black, oh, that's dark red. You know what, that'll work. What you can do is when you're generating something that doesn't necessarily need an object there, you can actually add it as a tile, and that won't really impact your optimization at all. So I'm moving everything in intervals of 16, so it's still grid-based, but hopefully it's going to look a little bit more organic doing a crawler sort of builder than like a segmented builder, if you will. Alright, so before we go any further, actually, I want to set up a conditional. Theoretically, if it reaches the edge of the map, I want it to stop. So that's our stopping point. It's greater than 16, I think. Minus a 16. I feel like maybe I made a mistake somewhere, but we're just gonna go with it and see what happens. That's the fun of it, right? It's the fun of code. Okay, I already broke it. You know what? Not only did I make it more complicated than it needs to be, I realized that my own conditionals are breaking. So let's fix this. These are all wrong. So I forgot that 0 is left. Wow. I apologize for just my inability to focus on the actual goddamn specifics. My attention to detail is terrible right now. I swear to God, this usually doesn't happen. Give me a minute here. Okay, I think I fixed it. So now everything should spawn correctly. Okay. I'm noticing a flaw too because the tile sprite is not lined up. Okay. Okay, it seems to be working. Proper origin lines. Alright. Well, let's add in back the other variable. And let's see how much that breaks. Alright. Wow, dude. I'm actually gonna change this to also include a 0. So my theory is that maybe I'm getting too many zigzags here, so maybe if I add a 0 in there, sometimes it'll just do the straight line, you know? Because it's 16 times 0 is 0. Alright. So I know it looks blocky right now, but with a little bit of code that we'll have to address in another video, because I've spent too much time just trying to do this, to draw this simple line, you know. But there are things that we can do that'll improve this in the future, but I just wanted to do a very basic look at what is possible. So I'm actually liking that. You know, it gives you a nice non-perfect line, a much more organic line that you can't really get if you're doing a segmented like spawn system, which is really the only thing I've done in the past. But this is completely different, and this is based more on what I read in the Vlambeer article, which was, you know, they create a master builder and then they map out the path based on movement, with, you know, creating the data as it moves, which I never actually thought to do until I read about that in an article. So that's pretty cool. And it's kind of something I want to implement in the future. I think this is actually a good stopping point, just because I have no idea how long I've been recording, and I know that an embarrassing amount of time was spent fixing really silly issues. But again, that is sort of the that sort of comes with the territory of writing code. Is if you're not very attentive, sometimes you'll make simple mistakes that make you look like an idiot. It's actually a pretty good allegory to doing Let's Play stuff as well. You know, commentating and playing well is very hard, just like the coding well and commentating properly, which I think can be improved on in the future, but you know, this is still a work in progress. So once again, as always, bear with me, but I know that there wasn't much visually in this episode. It is the nature of programming, is a lot of time is spent looking at squares, as you're seeing on the screen. All the beautiful stuff comes afterwards, way afterwards. Hopefully in the next episode I'll be able to refine this, improve it, and we'll start, you know, adding branching paths as well as other things to the project, and eventually it'll hopefully become something much more than a line going across the screen. But yeah, for now I'm gonna leave it there. The most important thing is, if you enjoy this series, if you want to see it, you know, continue in the future, please give it a like, so that I know that this is not going in vain and I'm not making an idiot of myself for nothing. Would love to know your thoughts, things I could improve on, things, ways that I could make it more interesting as a viewer. Whatever is on your mind, leave them in the comments, and I'll take them on into consideration. For now, thank you for watching me bumble around in code in this pilot episode, a very early concept episode for Let's Dev. And yeah, I hope you guys are excited as I am for the next one, which again, hopefully will be better. I don't know. Maybe this was fantastic. Who knows? All right, well, I'm gonna stop being awkward and I'll leave it there. So thank you for watching. Okay, this is bad. Hold up. Get out my way. Get out my way! Get out my way, man! Oh my god, this layout is bonkers. What the bananas? Okay.